There's a version of shopping that doesn't feel like a chore, and Podium in Edmonds is it. You walk in, Nick, the owner, greets you.
What's up, dude?
Massive Sounders fan. Probably someone you've already argued with or agreed with in our comment section at some point. And suddenly, you're 45 minutes deep into a conversation about the latest Sounders news, and you haven't even looked at the clothes yet.
Let me show you around.
And then, you do look around, and everything in there is the kind of thing you buy once and keep forever. Filson, Red Wing, Heritage, Taylor Stitch, Portuguese flannel, nudie jeans, wax London, domestic and European brands, built properly, meant to last. They're at 114 4th Avenue North, right in the heart of downtown, and Nick is going to take good care of you. LobbingScorchers.com/podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, did we just save an LAFC head coach's job? Ladies and gentlemen, did we just witness the greatest fumble of all time? We will take your calls tonight. The Seattle Sounders, unfortunately, lose 1-0 to a late goal against LAFC. We are here at the Lobbing Scorchers headquarters in the International District. I'm not quite sure what just happened. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to call about. We will watch our beautiful Brian Schmetzer break it down. Make sure you like the stream, you lobbyists. That's exactly what I was going to say. We are at the studio, so like last time, I don't know what happened with the internet. We are still on the same internet, so if it happens to have bad quality, I'm just going to let you know. That's really, like, I can't do anything. I moved the router closer to the window, so hopefully that helps. But bad day to be a Seattle Sounders fan. Let's just start right here. The Seattle Sounders lose 1-0. They had basically their normal starting lineup, except Hassani Dotson slid in for Snyder Brunel. And at center back, we saw Kim Keehee instead of either Tino Lopez, which I guess technically he's not a starter, or who has been playing there, which is Alex Roldan. I didn't mind this lineup when I saw it. I was a little bit questioning of Kim Keehee, considering he's played absolutely no minutes, and I'm just generally not a Kim Keehee believer. But here we are. It was not Kim Keehee's fault. It surely was not Jackson Reagan's fault. It seems as though it may have been Nouhou's fault, which I hate to say, but this did feel like a Nouhou crash out game. He had some interesting tackles, some interesting plays. But man, 6.5 week break. If that is how we end it, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm happy about that. I'm not going to sit here and say that I feel confident in the way that the Seattle Sounders are playing, because here's the deal. The Sounders deserve to win that game. They were on the front foot for the majority of that match. Yes, they were defending. They were absorbing pressure, which is not unexpected in an away game, but they are unable to finish. They are absolutely unable to find the back of the net. Jordan Morris hits the crossbar. Unfortunate for him. I thought he looked better tonight, but yikes. I mean, I don't know what else to say. What is the option at the number 9? We've been talking about this for 2 years. We've been having this conversation for 2 years. I don't necessarily know what to do. I don't necessarily know if I should be frustrated. I don't necessarily know if I should just give up all hope and understand that all of our production is going to come from Paul Rothrock. Which, guys, I hate to bring it back to the first ever episode of Lobbing Scorchers, but goddamn it, Paul Rothrock needs some help. He needs some help. He does. Okay. I don't know what to say. Paul Rothrock needs some goddamn help out there. He seemed to be the only one who was grinding it out, trying his best. I thought Jesus Ferreira looked good tonight as well. I thought he played pretty damn well. He had some really nice defensive play. And Albert Rusnak had a couple of looks that I was like, all right, you know what? That's classic Albert Rusnak. We see him. We love him on this broadcast, but they just couldn't get it done. They just absolutely couldn't get it done. I mean, if you believe in XG, the XG to this game was 1.35 to 1.89. So I guess technically LAFC should have won this game, but pretty even possession stats as well. LAFC outshot the Sounders by 7 shots. I would have loved to see Snyder Brunel in this game earlier. I would have had his ass on at halftime because he is by far the best attacking spark in our midfield. It is so clear to me. It is absolutely so clear to me. Another thing that I wanted to note that I talked about, listen, KKR, I love him. I thought he played pretty good most of the game. I think he got a little bit tired towards the end there, which he was definitely a part of kind of the defensive breakdown on that side. But it seems he's won the job over Alex Roldan. And I would love to know what you guys think about this, because seemingly to me, that would not have been the case. But, that's just the way it is. So, yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of Jordan Morris discourse today, which I'm definitely willing to have. I won't say that I'm excited to have it, but I am willing to have it. And yeah, I don't really know what to say. So let me scroll through some comments here and take these while we wait for the post-match press conference to happen. I assume that might take a minute because I don't think Brian Schmetzer is about to let these guys off the hook quite too easily. I saw a comment about Paul Rothrock or something on here that I wanted to hit. I think Kenny said it. I'm literally trying to find it. Oh, okay. Nope. There's Matt. We will hear from the Sounders here soon. I'm literally trying to find it. Paul, lowest rated player here. Guys, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't take a lot of stock in a thought mob rating, generally speaking. I think that they're kind of stupid, but I mean, the kid was, he passed, I don't know, like he was doing what he was doing when he was on the ball. I don't think that the ball got to him quite enough, but it's just, we are back to Seattle Sounders of 2 years ago, where simply we just can't score. How did this happen? We went from the team that was scoring 5 goals every single match to now it's like, hey, could you spare a goal, please? Could you spare a goal? Like, we're just back to XG merchanting, and I'm not necessarily. I'm just not having it, guys. I'm just not having it. Nouhou, highest rated Sounder. Paul, lowest rated Sounder. Cope, bud. Okay. Rothrock looks like he's been running in the sand the last 3 weeks. The break will be good for him. I think that's true. I think that is a larger topic here. I think the break will be good for a lot of these players and this team in general. It is, quite frankly, they have just looked sluggish, and I don't know. Listen, I'm just gonna chalk this up to last game of the season. They're tired, but also the Sounders have played 3 less games than every other team in the damn league. Like, why are we sitting here saying that they're extra tired? Like, they've played, like, I don't know, league wide at least. Yeah, Joey P's got a note here. He says, we sold all of our attacking depth and a DP hasn't touched the field this season. Seems straightforward. I mean, that is essentially like my cope and my rationalization that I've been talking about with Ari for a long time, is like, I guess when Pedro comes back, like, please, maybe something will happen, and that's going to be a big deal. And our attacking depth that we sold was Georgie, who I don't necessarily think he would have. I mean, does Georgie change the calculus on this game? Some people might say he would, but I don't know. What's he been up to lately? I'm just going to look that up. What has he been up to lately? I can't spell, guys. I really can't. I'm looking him up on FarmUp. He has 2 assists in 700 minutes. this season across all competitions, including the Sounders, I believe. So yeah. Oh, he's got a goal. He's got a goal for the Pids. He's got a goal for the Pids. I think that was in Open Cup though, was it not? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever. He had an assist. He had an assist yesterday. And he had that goal against the Switchbacks that helped them beat them. He had the game-winning goal, whatever. So yeah, maybe Georgie comes on and changes this game. Sorry guys, I didn't watch any of the games yesterday yet. But yeah, he also gave up a pen last night. So, could Georgie have changed the calculus? Maybe. That's definitely possible. But I'm tired. I think the team's tired, and I don't really want to necessarily harp on it that much. But it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say it, guys. It's exhausting not seeing this team score. Like, what happened? All right, let's pull it up. Caleb got a $5 donation here. He's cooking in chat. Oh. All right. Sorry, they're yapping on the what is it? Presser. Okay, hold on. Okay, sorry. I'm just listening to them chat. Sorry, Caleb, I'm reading your comment. I'm going ADHD mode a little bit. Ari's not here. We're off the rails tonight. This is going to be an entirely scary stream, I promise you. Caleb says, has the nerve to talk about Thorrington when Craig really needs to be talked about. Did I say it in a did I I don't know how much of this is on Craig, because I feel like in the summer, if they make changes, we all know that like the beginning part of an MLS season just simply doesn't matter. Like, unfortunately, it simply doesn't matter. The positioning that they're in, they're out of the Shield race. Absolutely. They're dropping points here is sad and embarrassing, but it's like, all right, they're going to make the playoffs. I would like them to stay up higher in the table, get that home field advantage, but I don't really know what Craig could do here. I think if he's in the summer, if he doesn't make any moves, sure. But we can talk about that when we get there. Let's hit the I'm sorry guys, I'm watching for the presser. I'm making sure we don't miss it. We'll hit it, don't worry. World Cup Sounders crash out. I'm here for it. Crashing out about the World Cup or crashing out about the Sounders? And are you a part of the crash out or are you witnessing the crash out? Tino? Oh, wait. Why are they putting out Snyder and Tino? They're putting out the subs? They're putting out the subs, guys. Come on. What is this, guys? Give us just Snyder and Tino? You're telling me the second half sub guys, you're putting them out? Come on, guys. Come on. Don't do that. I'm heated on this one. This one pissed me off. I hate losing to LAFC. I hate it. Let's talk about Snyder though. Snyder was fire. He and speak of the devil.
Thanks, Kevin. Snyder, Tino, thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate the time. We'll get right into questions here and let you guys get on your way. So go ahead, media, if you'd like to ask a question, please use the hand raise function in Zoom. We'll start with Masvita. Masvita, go ahead and ask your question.
Hey guys, obviously it's a disappointing loss here, but looking at the positive, when you both came in the 63rd minute, you seemed to change the game. What was working there? And you almost scored in the 75th minute. What was working there?
I feel like the team started off great in the second half. Like, as soon as we came on, we just carried the momentum and we just tried to do our best, keeping the shape, the structure. I felt like we were really trying to just create chances overall, get that first goal before they did. So overall, I thought that we were just coming on and just trying to help the team win.
All right. We'll go next to Jeremiah Oshan. Jeremiah, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, I guess this can be for either one of you, but you guys started the season great. You've hit sort of a rough patch here in the last 5 or so. How does it feel momentum wise going into this break? And I have to imagine it's a little frustrating to to know that it's going to be 2 months before you guys play again?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it is a little bit frustrating not coming away with at least a point. But we know we're a good team, and we know when we show up on any given day, we can beat anybody. So, yeah, I mean, right now it's a really bad feeling. We didn't get a point at least, but we know that we need to get back to it, and it's not just going to be just a break and vacations and everything like that. You guys are going to put in the work, so when we do come back, we pick up.
All right, next we'll go to Jada Evans. Jada Evans, go ahead and ask your question. Jada, you're muted still.
Jada, it's your question.
All right. We'll circle back with Jada. We'll go to Jorge. Go ahead and ask your question.
So this is more for Snyder, but also for Tino. So you are a very young man, but you have a lot of confidence when you get on the pitch. Where does that come from? Is that like present in all aspects of your life, or is it kind of just on the soccer field where you feel confident in your skills? And also to Tino, like you got into the team after a while in Tacoma, but you're very confident on the field as well. So I'm wondering how you guys feel your confidence.
I feel like the confidence comes from the trust in our teammates. I feel like the more I trust my teammates, the more I can lean on them, the more that I feel like I can get the best out of myself. I think I can speak the same for Tino. No, I mean, it's like being confident in every aspect of your life. If you're not confident, you're not going to probably be out 100%. So every time I step on the field, I'm going to give it my all. So if I don't play with confidence, why am I out there? I got to just go give it 100%, go and try and help the team win.
Jada, we'll circle back to you. You hear me? Able to ask your question now?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep, all good.
Okay, great. Thanks. Well, yeah, I wanted to ask a little bit about like after the match, like in the locker room, what was kind of maybe messaging since you guys won't see each other for a while here. So, what was that mood like, or any kind of messaging that you guys had after the match?
We're obviously disappointed. If we would have walked away with 3 points, it would have been a completely different situation. So, I mean, in a game like this where we could have maybe gotten at least a point out of this game, there's a bit of a sour taste in our mouths right now. But so, yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit of, we knew we could have done and gotten a better result than what we did.
Yeah. And to add on to that, I mean, obviously, like the locker room, very, very like quiet, people are upset. But we know that whenever this break comes around, you have to reset and find that form that we were once in. And overall, that we just have to improve our game and be able to, first of all, get the first goal and then be able to keep going from there.
All right, we'll go to Kasim Ali. Kasim, I just gave you permission to talk. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hey guys, so obviously 85 minutes of solid defense. You guys came on midway through, but what was working to kind of keep this more explosive? Maybe not the most informed team, but keep this kind of explosive team off the board early on.
I mean, I think when we had the ball and we kind of forced their wingers and Son to go back a little bit deeper into the half, more than what they probably have wanted to, I think that makes it a bit harder for them because now they have to sprint an extra 15, 20 yards. So it kind of gives us a little bit of advantage there. And I think that was a big part of why they couldn't necessarily break away like you see them do so many times.
I am not seeing any other hands in the queue. So last call for questions for Snyder or Tino. All righty, guys. Hey, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And safe travels home.
All right, Snyder and Tino. Check. Can you guys hear me? Is this mic working? Is this working? Can you hear me? Let me know, chat. Okay, there it is. It was like hidden. I didn't. There was no audio level. All right, listen. Okay, let me post that we're live on our Instagram here. Beautiful. Thank you guys. look at this. Not to jinx it, but we're looking okay right now. Wow, let's roll out Snyder and Tino. That's a choice. I personally would not have done that. Someone in here said you should roll out your DPs in this situation. Yeah, you should. You should. I would love to see Christian Roldan talk about this game. I mean, he's someone who's gonna not shy away from this kind of stuff. Putting out there I don't know. Putting out there. Sorry, guys. I'm multitasking here. I have no assistance. I'm just trying my best. I don't. It's just so tough. Like, I think that someone just commented on our Blue Sky, and they said, how are you guys going to defend this one? I don't have a defense for this one. I'm done defending this. Oh.
Coach, thank you for joining us. Would you like to open with a statement or go right into questions?
No, let's go questions.
We'll go to questions. Masvita, why don't you lead us off again?
Hey, Brian, obviously a disappointing loss. I'm just wondering, how deep of a dive do you do now, kind of in the next 3-4 weeks, or I'm sorry, Brian, let me rephrase the question. Coach, you've got a break coming up here, and so you're going to reevaluate your team. Do you look at the first part, the second, what's that process going to be like for you as you evaluate this first half of the season?
Well, we'll let this, moment pass, because everybody's pretty disappointed. I think the players put a lot into the game. I think the adjustments we made at halftime worked great. And we'll digest this game. And then, of course, as a coaching staff, we've got another preseason where we'll have to get them physically right. It'll be a test for, what that looks like for future seasons in MLS, having the break in the summer. Adam Centofanti, best trainer in the league, best fitness guy in the league, is going to give the guys programs to go home with, make sure they're physically fit. And then obviously the coaching staff's going to revisit, the good things that we've done this year to get 7-3-3, which isn't a bad record. But it just feels really poor, or, feels bad right now because, starting with that Sporting Kansas City game, we dropped points there. San Diego at home, we dropped a few points. Then the Galaxy game, and now this one. So, we'll do our normal revisiting of this game, and certainly try and right the ship when we come back against Portland.
Thanks, Moss. We'll go next to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess kind of to that point, what do you feel like there's anything that you can point to that's really changed over these last few games? Obviously, you came into that homestand feeling like you were in a really good spot, but to only get 4 points out of it, and then to drop this one.
Well, the margins, look, Jeremiah, as well as anybody, the margins in this league are so small. I mean, they are so small. What I would tell you is that in the beginning of the year, that's game in San Jose, they pummeled us with a bunch of shots, but Paul was able to make a 1-goal lead, and we stood firm. We got 3 points. This game, again, we took some heat in the first half, made some adjustments, evened the game out, and then, just couldn't find that, Danny Masowski crossbar, the scramble with Albert. I don't know why he doesn't pass the ball to Paul or shoot, whatever. At the beginning, look at the beginning there when Snyder hits that ball and it ricochets off someone, earlier in the year, that might have ricocheted. The goalkeeper's leaning one way, it might have gone in the net. So there's a little bit of part of me that, wants to, again, stay calm, stay steady. We're a good team. Again, this hurts. But, overall, we'll try and, execute on the margins like we were in the beginning of the year.
Jada Evans, why don't you go and ask the next question?
Great. Thanks. Thanks for that time, Brian. With that, can you kind of walk us through what kind of happened on that goal? I mean, it seemed like Nouhou and Kalani just were a little bit slow to react, or was there something more as far as them being able to slip through and get that goal?
Well, look, Jada, at the end of the day, I could, look at Kalani, but the kid matched up against one of the best players in this league and shut him down. So on that particular play, it actually started before that in our possession sequence where we ain't, against a tired team. Tino Lopez gets stuck on the sideline because we don't have guys in the number 8s demanding the ball, wanting the ball off of a young player. So he's got to launch a ball up there. They win possession. They come down the field. Nouhou goes out there to block a cross. He actually gets a touch on it, changes the trajectory of the ball, slows it up a little bit. And then, Tino Lopez goes, it flips over Jackson's head. Tino Lopez was, watching a guy in front of him, and, the guy sneaks in front of Kalani. So, overall, it's a disappointing goal. But again, for me, where I, am going to focus some of my energy is why, after such a good second half, we couldn't score the first goal. Why we haven't, parlayed the, 3+ expected goals. And, even this game is 1.35 or whatever, depending on what you see. But Jordan Morris has another breakaway in the first half. Their goalkeeper makes a good save. Again, Danny Masowski in the crossbar. I mean, we need to score for us to win games. Simple as that.
And then, if I may, with the team, you said that you guys are going to have a break. I mean, when do you expect to regroup or start training again, I guess?
Well, that's a mandatory union negotiated term. We are going to give the players 18 days off, and then we'll have a block of training, and then we'll go back for another block of 4 days off, because they are guaranteed via the union contract 22 days off. You could have given them 22 days in a row or 18 and 4. We elected to go with 18 and 4.
All right, next we'll go to Jorge. Go ahead and ask your question, Jorge.
Coach, all indications are that Cristiano Roldan is going to be called for the World Cup. But looking historically, like the Sounders had 3 players 2010, 2 players 2014, 3 players 2018, 4 players 2022. It looks like it's going to be only 1 player for this World Cup. Is that you concerning in terms of the roster, that you're losing steps towards the rest of the teams in MLS?
No. I mean, we're going to celebrate if Christian makes the squad. We're going to celebrate that achievement. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's had a heck of a year and a half, starting back with the Club World Cup. And then, look, we have a lot of talented players on the team. And it's my job to make sure that those players perform at their best level. And that's what we're going to focus on. That's what we're going to work on.
All right, next we will go to Kasim Ali. Kasim, go ahead and ask your question.
Coach, you mentioned Kalani matching up with Bouanga. What worked about this defense throughout the first 85 minutes before the concession?
Well, look, we knew that Martinez and Bouanga on either side of Son, who drops into midfield at times, those are the danger guys. And we wanted to make sure that we double teamed them, wanted to make sure that when the ball changed point of attack, we would shift over quickly enough to provide support. But look, there were a bunch of moments where Kalani was on his own there against Bouanga, and he did great.
All right, we'll go next to Felipe Makeda before circling back for a couple follow-ups. Felipe, go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you, Alex. Coach Brian, the Seattle Sounders finished this part of the season in 6th place in the conference, and then in 10th in the Super Shield. Do you think that, or you think that the team still in good position to keep fighting for the Super Shield? Thank you.
Well, we're a bit off, and we should have collected points against, again, the homestand where we lost to the Galaxy and dropped points with San Diego. Felipe. We can't hide from that. Those are facts. The road game against Kansas City, but 7-3-3 is a respectable record. Again, we're going to fine tune it. We're going to work. We're going to do everything we can to help the team start this second part of the year the way they started off the first part of the year, and then we'll see where we end up.
All right, we'll go back. I see a few more hands in the queue for follow-ups. So we'll go to Maz Vida. Maz, go ahead and ask a follow-up.
Hey, Brian, just a quick injury update. When will Pedro be back? Be back for the second half?
He'll be back. We'll there's not a timeline on that. We'll get him up and operational after the break, and then it might take him a little bit of full training before he steps on the field in a real game.
Thanks.
Jeremiah?
You kind of alluded to this a little bit, but as far as the offense goes, but you look at the top paid players on the team and their goal and assist numbers, and I'm just curious if you're getting enough production out of your top players right now.
Well, Jeremiah, I don't know if you had a microphone in the locker room, because again, what I challenged the team with is that in that second half performance, I needed one of those senior players, veteran players. If you want to say the money guys has to step up and make a play, sure, we need to score more goals. We've done a great job defensively, and we need to, pick the pace up as far as scoring. But, it's not just Jordan, and it's not just Albert. It's got to be Jesus. It's got to be Paul Rothrock. It's got to be Snyder. It's got to be Jackson, the one, look, he gets shoved over, he gets back up on his feet. But, I've seen Jackson score from that position when the ball was recirculated on that one chance. So it's got to be everybody. So I'm not going to just sit there and pick on one or two guys. It has to be a team effort.
All righty. Jada, why don't you close us out?
Thanks. This is a little bit, sharp turn here, but I wanted to see, Brian, if you could think of like the Sounders players in the past that have made World Cup rosters. If there's a favorite or a good game or a match or something like that you kind of think of a former Sounders player that, kind of stands out as a cool World Cup moment for you.
Well, look, if I'm going back in my memory, Jada, Jordan got to touch the field in Qatar. We had Clint Dempsey, who played many, many, many big games for the United States. We've had international players that have played for their national teams in World Cup matches. So the history of the players on this franchise playing in World Cup, I'm sure if I thought about it, if I had my computer in front of me, I could get that list, or the crack staff over here could give me an answer for you. But again, we've had some big players at the club. Some have played in World Cups, others have not. We've had a lot of success as a club. We're going to, again, try and regroup both mentally and physically after this particular World Cup, and come out again in the second half of the year against our arch rival. Couldn't think of a better way to start the second half of the year than playing Portland. If the guys aren't up for that, then I'm doing something wrong.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Coach, thanks for the time. Safe travels home.
Enjoy the World Cup, and I hope Christian's on the team.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
All right. That was Brian Schmetzer saying to us Seattle fans, we need to score more to win. We need to score more to win. And we have heard that a few times now. But yeah, I mean, that's the truth. My takeaways from that press conference, and listen, guys, I'm going to be honest. I was crashing out a little bit before at the start of this. And, I'm coming down to earth. This is like the working through the depressive states. You start with the crash out, and then you go to the bargaining, and then, we're going to land on acceptance. I just, the one thing that irks me a little bit, because I do agree with the sentiment that Brian said about luck, right? Like sometimes in soccer, balls bounce your way and you're really lucky, or sometimes you're super unlucky. That's like the beauty of the game. But also your team shouldn't have to rely on that luck to be getting results. So to say that on one hand, and then to also say, well, we need to score more, we need to be more goal dangerous to be able to convert our chances. Those don't really coexist to me as much. You know, I think someone said it in chat and I agree with it. It's like the Sounders are 1 inch away from tying that game. Yes, that's true. But I don't want to have to rely on that 1 inch. You know, I want that goal. The LAFC had not won at home in 2 months. LAFC was not a good team. The LAFC was reeling. Their fan base was incredibly upset. Hyunmin Son has been vulnerable. Denny Bwanga, who has been one of the best players in Major League Soccer over the last, 5 years, has not looked exactly like himself this year. This is your opportunity to go down there and get your first ever win in their home. I mean, right before a World Cup send-off, right before all of this. And it's like, yeah, did they defend well? Yes. I thought they looked really good defensively. That said, I don't think they looked good in attack. And you just, unfortunately, you need to make those opportunities count. You need to look good on the attack. You need to have a varied look other than, oh shit, blast that ball off to Paul Rothrock. Oh, play Jordan in behind. But he's like half a step slow, and Rusnak's like taking one too many touches and not being, it's discombobulated. And yeah, well, listen, I have my crutch here. Jeremiah, I invited him on. Are you ready to come on the stage? All right. Jeremiah Oshan of Sounder at Heart, who pays for this wonderful studio that we're sitting in. Well, I'm sitting in, not him. He also pays his rent. So technically he pays for both rooms that we're sitting in. But Jeremiah, how are you feeling about this game?
You know, I think in some ways there were some, I suppose, I mean, I don't think the Sounders played badly. I thought they looked good in the second half. But, you know, I think Brian said it best. Like you can get frustrated over the goal they gave up. It was a tough goal to give up, but I think they need to find a way to score in that, especially with the way that they were playing for the first 40 minutes of the second half. I mean, they were the better team, I thought, in the second half for the most part. They had 3 or 4 good looks, and that they weren't able to convert any of them is real problematic. You know, I thought, you know, Jordan had 1 good look in the second half, or in the first half. You know, I thought he did well to create a couple other chances in the second half, but they need someone to put the ball in the net. And, you know, I think the numbers just, you know, for a long time, I have argued that their goal scoring looks worse than it really is because of the, you know, you can't just look at the raw goals. You got to look at the, you know, goals per game, I think. But these last 2 games, you know, knocked them down the charts quite a bit, and they're struggling to find chances. I mean, not struggling to find chances. They're struggling to just put the ball in the net. Yeah. And I don't think it's as easy as like, oh, they need a clinical number 9. But look, they went 13 games. They started the season 13 games without getting a single goal from a starting goalkeeper. Starting striker. That's a problem. You know, I think you can go down the list, and every top paid player on the team is having a underwhelming start to the season offensively. And that's, you know, that's bad. And you need, you know, it's like, it's great. Rothrock, I think, has been off to a good start, but I mean, he didn't really get too involved in this game. But you just go through the whole attack, and I don't think that anyone has been really up to the standard that you would ask.
You know, that question that you asked Brian about, are your highest paid players performing enough? I mean, is that the reason? Like, where are we at? Because I feel like the beginning of this season, they were scoring, they were converting, and they were doing a lot of that on the back of not really their starting 11. Like, it was not necessarily like those high paid guys. So I don't know. I think the community question to all of this is like, is it time to make some big moves in this summer and shake up the roster?
I mean, I would love to say, I don't think you would be, I think this would be an appropriate time to do that. You know, there's been some people have expressed some frustration that we aren't, I guess, banging on tables and demanding that they do more with the, you know, with the assets that they have. My concern is that they need, at some point, you need ownership to be willing to spend money. And right now, ownership does not seem willing to do that. And I don't put that on Craig. I think Craig is doing what he can. Craig Weibel is doing what he can to generate assets so that they can make moves without spending money. And man, they really do need to. People are going to rightfully lose their minds if they spent the whole offseason trading away pieces and then don't do anything to bring in reinforcements. Now, is the difference between where they are right now and where they could be Georgie Manungu? I don't necessarily think so. Is it Reed Baker-Whiting? Probably not. Is it Danny Leva? Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't
maybe he looks good in Liga MX. He was by far the best player on that Necaxa team this season.
I mean, sure, and he had 2 assists, 3 assists.
That team, though, I will say I watched all of their games. They were fucking abysmal. That is one of the worst clubs I've ever watched in my life.
But is he going to be doing more than, like, would we have expected him to outplay Snyder Burnell for time?
No,
probably not.
Nor Jesus Ferreira.
Right, we're talking about on the margins here, and so if they're going to make a move, they probably need to bring in a starting quality player, someone who's going to, you know, force Paul Rothrock to be into a more of a backup role, to push Jesus Ferreira, to push Albert Rusnak, to push Jordan Morris.
Yeah,
you know, they need someone to push these players to have to earn their time more than they have been, and I hope that they do it. It would help if they had a little bit more real cash to spend. I think there are viable ways where they could open up a DP spot if they were willing to spend the money to do it. I just don't know what I'm, realistically, I want to set expectations at the same time.
Well, let's dabble in a little bit of the fantasy for a minute. How would they open up that DP spot? What do you think they would look for?
I mean, I think the most straightforward way that they can open up a DP spot probably is signing Albert Rusnak to an extension where because he's got an option due next year. So it would seem pretty straightforward to sign him to an extension that isn't for a DP spot. You open up a DP spot that way. You have to use some allocation money to take him, on him at that point. But then you have cash to spend on the market if you wanted to do that. You could potentially, I think you could probably extend, do something similar with Jordan or Pedro, although I don't know how much.
Isn't Jordan already going to be on a contract till he's like 37? Like, how much longer can you re-extend Jordan Morris?
I mean, he's only signed through 2027.
Only.
Well, that's just next year.
That's true.
I'm going to be 27. I'm going to be washed. I don't know that the math really works there anyway. But sure. Pedro, I think if you signed him to an extension, you could probably get him off a DP contract. But then you're committing to Pedro for a longer period of time, which, and I think there is something to be said that there's a world where Pedro comes back this summer, maybe not immediately after the World Cup, but shortly after the World Cup. And if he's able to return to the form that he was in before he got hurt, that somewhat solves some of your problems. But I think that's a dumb thing to rely on as your plan A.
Yeah.
I think you need to at least have, and the thing is that I think we can sometimes get too focused on who is going to be your starters. But the reality is that you just got to bolster the roster. You need to bring in more talent to compete for more time and let Brian figure out who's the starter, but give him more talent to work with. They've got a lot of players who I think are good on the fringes, but they haven't gotten enough out of Pauly or Areola. They haven't. You can just go down the list. I don't know that there's a single offensive player aside from maybe Rothrock who you're getting a sufficient amount of. And I think even with Rothrock, if you look at his per minute production, it's probably not what you want out of a starter.
It's evened out. It's evened out, especially over the last like 4 games. It feels like he seems like his role is kind of like exhausting him. Like he's not necessarily playing that super sub role. He's not necessarily getting
not at all. He's not asked to be a super sub. He's starting, and I mean, I don't know that he was involved in a single good chance in this game. I'm trying to think if maybe he had a cross that was. Did he have the cross to Reagan that he missed? Okay, so he had that.
He was fine on he had. Let's see here. He had 27 touches.
Yeah, I mean that's not enough for. I mean, it's one thing if he's stretching the field, and like if there's. I'm not saying it's not as easy as like, well, how many touches did he get? But he wasn't involved enough. He wasn't stretching the field. He wasn't able to get, and that's not necessarily on him. But I mean, I was not worried about Albert Rusnak a few weeks ago. I'm more worried about him now. I wasn't worried about Jesus Ferreira a few weeks ago. I'm more worried about him now. I wasn't worried,
I'm not as worried about Jesus. Like, I feel like for me, Jesus has looked more goal dangerous. He played well in this match I mean, I'm not looking at this. I haven't looked at his numbers from this game. I'm basing this on an eye test, but like, I thought he was putting in the work defensively, being kind of a more like what you want out of a Sounders player, like a Paul Rothrock-esque, or like a, someone who's just running and going for it. I mean, he had a lot of, times where he kind of dove in and won challenges that no one else was really going for.
Well, I mean, I will even say, it's not even this. I wasn't super frustrated with any one player's performance in this game. I think that the Galaxy game was more frustrating. I think those drop points to Sporting Kansas City look a lot more frustrating right now.
Sure.
I mean, I just think, you look at the table and the Sounders just aren't where you would think they should be after the start of the season that they had. And I think you just have to sort of look at everybody, and it's not that they're not trying. I saw someone was really upset about Jordan Morris's defense in this game. And it's like, man, he also created 3 of the best he was involved in 3 of their best chances. So look, I mean, I don't want to beat anyone up for this game necessarily. I just think on the whole, they need need more talent, and they need the players that are here to perform better. I mean, there's a lot of reason to be frustrated, I think, not so much at this game, but just at the last, the body of work, the last 5 games where they only claimed 5 points from their last 5 games, which isn't enough.
Yeah. I have two more here, and then I can let you go, or you can stay on, up to you. But I do want to pick on one player because I think, it's a community talking point, but Jordan Morris in this game, I think a lot of people didn't like the way he was playing. They didn't like his output. I don't know if that's based on a statistical reality or him being dangerous. They just don't like him at the 9. They feel like he's sluggish. He's not able to finish those chances. I think one of their prime examples, or an example that I can think of, is he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and all he really needs to do is lift that ball off the turf, and that's going in the back of the net, like actually get the chip off. He's not able to do it. The goalkeeper does come out and make a pretty good save, but it's someone who he feels it's not a feeling. He is a step slower than he used to be. He is not the same Jordan Morris, and I don't feel like he's necessarily adapted his game to that yet. And maybe that comes with taking more time in the number 9 position. But I don't know. Where are you landing on Jordan Morris right now?
I mean, like I said, I think if you look at it, he was probably involved in he was involved in probably 3 of their best chances in this game. So he certainly wasn't the biggest problem. I think it's fair to be frustrated at the number 9 production as a whole, and he is absolutely part of that. I didn't really, and I think similarly to the chance that he had against, I guess it was San Jose that he had the chance saved. I mean, he's getting himself into dangerous positions still. But look, if he's going to be your starting 9, you need more production than 1 goal. I mean, that's it. And so it's like if they want to go out and sign another number 9, I think it makes sense. I've also heard the argument that the money would be better spent going out and signing a dynamic winger, and I think that's a fair point. I mean, I do think that they need to get more production out of the players that they have. I don't have the magic wand to do it. The easiest thing to do is to say they should sign more players, and so maybe that's what I'm defaulting to. But I guess what I'm saying is I think people have a right to feel frustrated, and it's very easy and not wrong to look at the lack of spending and be frustrated at that, because seemingly there's money out there to spend and they just need to go spend it.
I think that also we can look at in this same place. LAFC fans are fucking pissed off at Son. Son hasn't scored a goal, and they're like, I don't care that he's scored 27 assists. It doesn't matter. Like, there's a whole lot of people who are. Then there's a whole lot more money being spent on even less productive strikers.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad roster at all. I mean, I think that, but I do think it's fair to look at whatever their top 5 paid attacking players and recognize that not a single one of them is having what would be deemed a good season.
No. And I think that seems pretty predictable when you looked at the roster from coming into this season. You were like, okay, you have coming off of an injury, Jordan Morris, who's another year older. You have Danny Musovski, who it's questionable if he can replicate exactly what he did last year, which just seems so incomprehensible to completely replicate. And then you have De Rosario, who, while we've seen flashes, it hasn't been consistent. You know, I think it's a situation. They don't have
an obvious starting number 9. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. 100%. All right. Well, this is my last question. Then I can let you go and write your recap, because I'm sure that the Sounder at Heart Nation needs to hear those pontifications. Which, guys, listen, if you're not subscribed to Sounder at Heart, sounderatheart.com/LS. Go there. You can get, I think it's a free month or 10%. I don't know what the discount is, but it's great. We love Sounder at Heart because they let us bum in their studio. We literally, sometimes I just sleep here, guys. When my girlfriend kicks me out of the house, she's like, go sleep on the Sounder Heart couch. Just kidding. But yeah, go check it out. Sounder Heart, go subscribe. We love them. Final question here. I've been pontificating on this, Jeremiah, because I just watched one of the most MLS matches of all time, Inter Miami versus Philadelphia Union, which was I believe that game ended 27-35.
Something like that,
yeah. So hear my take here. If the Seattle Sounders in their roster, in their form, were in the Eastern Conference, they would be in second place easily. There is a shitload of terrible teams. I mean, just a shitload of terrible teams in the East, a lack of defense across the board. It is truly a heartbreaking situation to just how strong the West is, that I think this Sounders team is better than they're showing. Obviously, they're not performing to what they should be, but I also don't think in the grand scheme of MLS, they're still probably a top 5 team.
Are you asking me if I agree?
Yeah. What's your words? Do you agree? Like, if they're in the East, they'd be looking a lot better?
I mean, I think they'd be looking. I feel like they match up well with everyone in the East. Period. I don't think that there's anyone in the West. I mean, the funny thing is that for all the frustrating results and where they are, I mean, the Sounders are 4-0 against the top 2 teams in the West.
And they looked good in this game. They looked like they could have won.
Like, the gap between, I mean, like, it's a frustrating answer, but it is true. I mean, Brian said this in the press conference. It's like the margins in this league are really small. In the early part of the season, we were on the plus side of those margins. And for the last 5 games, we haven't been. And that's frustrating, but we got to figure out how to just sort of like make that slight adjustment to get on the other side. And that's a really unsatisfying answer. No one wants to hear, like, we just got to be 5% better. I mean, this is like this kind of stuff that Mariners fans have been losing their minds over for 20 years. But there is truth to it. I don't love saying it, but there is some truth to it. And, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Jeremiah, thank you for popping on. I'm going to take some calls now. I'll see you tomorrow. But everyone, Jeremiah Oshan, Sounder at Heart. Bye. Okay. I'm dropping the call link in, guys. Let's get these calls going. We're about an hour in, so we're going to do them quick. We're going to get through them. Tap the phone lines. The link is in the chat. We are pinning it right now. We will take your calls. 1-800 Lobbing Scorchers. Not actually. We should get that phone number. Is that enough? Is that how it, you know what I'm saying? Number wise, does that work? I'm not sure. Oh, they're filing in. They are absolutely filing in. Look at us go. Look at us go. All right. Hey, Jesus, I see you. I see Caleb, Sticks, Timbo, James. All right. Hey, Jesus, you don't have your camera on and your mic is muted. So let me know if you're ready to. Okay, you unmuted here. We'll add you on the stage. Hey, Jesus, how are we doing? What you got?
Just frustration and this is probably practically I think one of the worst offensive showings I ever seen. I was at that San Diego game a few weeks ago, and I had good seats, but the offense was not showing at all. And that's all I had to say.
That's it. Nothing more. Just terrible offense.
I got something else to say. We need a false nine, and that's what we truly need. And then all we
Who
need
would
is
play
just
that false nine for you?
like a Rui Diaz type player, like a player who's hungry to score more goals. Like
a more of a guy who's gonna sit there, kind of just find the right moments and pounce. Good on the ball, lethal striker, something like that.
yeah, like I still remember that goal against Toronto FC. I think was it like the chip shot over the
Yeah.
goalkeeper. Like that was practically one of my favorite goals, and that was like I think the goal I screamed the most. And then obviously the one in CONCACAF, which is still one of my favorites. And then obviously he's like I think the second top goal scorer in the club and one of my favorite players.
I mean, listen, if we could find another Rui Diaz, I think that would be amazing. I don't know how much this club is willing to spend transfer fees nowadays, but maybe we can get like a free agent from MLS or something. Does that satisfy you?
Yeah, it satisfies me. But the only part, like I think a Wilfred Zaha type player, like too.
Yeah, I saw some people saying that. What do you think? Would you want to crash out Snapchat legend Wilfred Zaha at Seattle Sounders?
Of course, I would love to have Wilfred Zaha on the team, and I know he is well known for being the crash out on Snapchat, which I saw the Snapchat actually, and I just found it absolutely hilarious.
I mean, I love him. I feel like he should have a podcast. Like I think he should podcast with me. That would be the greatest day of my life.
It would. And if you bring like other Sounders legends onto the podcast, it would be greater too. Like
There we
Brad
go.
Evans or or like Freddie Montero. That would be dope.
Exactly. All right, Jesus, anything to close it out? Any final thoughts?
Win or lose, win or draw, Sounders till I die. We'll always be there at Lumen regardless to support.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for having me on here, and hope one day we get to meet up at Lumen.
There we go, man. If you ever see me, say what's up. All right. Thank you, Jesus, for calling in. Next up, we got Caleb. I see him. Is he ready? All right, he's ready to go. All right, Caleb, how are we doing, my friend?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, like the video, comment, share, subscribe. You'll have your QED coffee morning show with Nico and Ari discussing this particular matchup. And ladies and gentlemen, just just all around, just get into the Sounder at Hard content. There's content for days.
We don't even pay him for that, folks. We don't even pay him for that.
But now that I got that out of the way, I mean, I watched the game. It was very nobody stepped up. Everybody was done. And I really look at Craig. I mean, as much as I was listening to so much media about John Thorrington and Thorrington and Thorrington and Thorrington this and Thorrington out and Thorrington this, and I'm like, why isn't Craig getting any of these kind of like this kind of heat? And it's just a respect, and I'm just coming at this as in a respectful perspective. So,
No, I hear you. You know, I know that's been not just your perspective. There's definitely been other people's perspectives that feel that way. Question to you, I think, is do you believe that it's more on the ownership's unwillingness to spend money, or it's more on Craig? Because, like, my perspective, I feel like Craig is locked in to whatever amount of money he can spend. It's like, you know, whatever budget he has to follow, and he can't really deviate on that. And I feel like sometimes that can make him look worse or better, or whatever, however way you want to categorize him, that sometimes it might have more to do with ownership. So are you still pinning it fully on Craig, or do you also feel that the ownership has some accountability to that?
There is respectfully both. I think, but for me, there's a little bit more on Craig because of how I've seen his past work, especially against a former club that he's worked at. So it really just really opens up the gap of just like, dude, like you know, like dude. Like, you know, you're doing it again. Like, you know, like if you haven't seen that new movie Obsession where the no, don't do that. You don't do that. And that's what I'm doing. That's how I feel like when I'm watching the game now these days, because I'm like, Craig, don't do that. You're doing RSL 2.0 things again. Like, you're doing it again, Craig. Like you need to stop it. But you know, like what can I do? I can't, you know. But like you know, I think yes, Schneider Brunel, he played very well. He was hungry on the field. And again, to answer your question, like I said, I think for me, it's 65% Craig. The rest is ownership, because the ownership, they definitely have to take accountability into wanting to find something, because since we're all talking about Moneyball, like I said before, do you remember when everybody was talking about in the movie about Jason Giambi, when, you know, how Jason Giambi was such a big thing, and that was such a big thing of getting gutted. That was Chris Henderson. That was our Jason Giambi, and his brother Sean Henderson is the Jeremy Giambi, and I don't like any of that, because it's just like, look, you're moneyballing this, like Sean, like, what are you doing for these people to sleep at night? Because what are we looking at? Like, what are we looking at? Like, what are we scouting? Like, what are we like seeing that's making this thing right here want people to come?
Yeah. I mean, I think they are scouting pretty well amongst the youth ranks. You know, I think we can hang our hat on the fact that we've developed some incredible players, including Snyder Brunel, who you just mentioned. And I think the next thing I want to ask you about here sorry, I'm doing rapid fire today because I want to go.
Of course.
But my final question to you is, this match, how is it sitting with you in the grander scale? What do you want to see when the Sounders come back out of this multi-week break for the World Cup?
Well, I would like to say, well, if anybody's ever watched the movie Cool Runnings, I'm gonna just quote, you know, one of the the head coach for the bobsled team. You choked, gentlemen. The dog was there to be put down, and you choked. Like, you had the chance to literally put put the fist, to the anime of like slow motion, and then they're like, unique, or whatever, and to like, literally put the dog down of LAFC. But you just didn't do that. And you need to really look at what, like, this method of why we're doing things of wanting to win again. That's out of respect to that. And we need now, it's literally, we need to get all eyes on Philip and George now, because George is going to be a big freaking thing coming back, for us, like coming into this, to the second wave of the season, because we got to win George. Like, I don't care. We need to show dominance. We need to just show that, hey, maybe we just needed a break, because now every point is precious. And if we really want to have an absolute celebration in the Emerald City, we need to get this one done against Port Scum.
I agree. We got to take out Port Scum. I think that's going to be a good match to come back on. And we look forward to seeing you back for that post-match after, hopefully, a happy one. Thank you so much, my boy Sticks.
And before anything,
finish. Final word. Go for it. Go for it.
My final word, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why I'm not behind my drum kit is because I've just I've taken it down, because now I'm getting ready for the absolute amazing travel. Because there is going to be, in June 6th, I will be in the city of Ballard, and I will be there for the grand doubleheader with Salmon Bay FC and Ballard FC, and against the arch rivals of a doubleheader. So please, ladies and gentlemen, get your tickets and come out to see one of the grandest games for local soccer. If you can't afford World Cup tickets, just come see a Ballard FC game. So
there you go.
And I will be there.
I agree. All right. Thank you so much. We're going to keep her pushing. Go to a Ballard game. Ballard rocks. Go to support your local soccer team. It's way cheaper than going to a World Cup game. And dude, you can still get like $1 hot dog. It's sick. Where do you see $1 hot dog anymore? God, the game has been gone, but not for local soccer. All right, Timbo, I see you. Are you ready to go? Beautiful. Timbo, how are we doing? Whoa, that's like I feel like I was just jump scared there.
Happy World Cup, everybody.
Yeah, seriously. Why don't you fill those in who do not know what's happening behind you? What is
this is Diego Madrana losing his absolute mind on various substances after scoring a goal. And
allegedly.
No, he didn't pass the P test, but there's a whole
they could have alleged. We're journalists here. Everything is alleged.
But the one of the last goals he scored in his career, you can kind of tell he's lit. It's kind of how I was crashing out tonight watching that 87th minute goal.
Yeah. So lit scale. You were up here. You were exceeding the frame that I have. You were exceeding it.
It was
not so tilting to you.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that kind of set me further in this kind of mode was watching the hostage video with the kids with Tino and Snyder, who I think played excellent game with the time that they had on the field. Why the heck aren't our DPs taking questions? Why isn't the captain of this team taking the question? Who's going to get on this roster allegedly? Which he's going to make that roster. We can go into Diego Luna and the craziness from the weekend, but maybe that's for another day.
We will have to do a World Cup show here soon.
I just think the fact that, okay, if JMO doesn't want to do it, if Al doesn't want to do it, if Christian doesn't want to do it, how about Jesus? How about Nouhou? These guys who have shown leadership this year, who are leading components of the squad, who, I don't know, I'd like some accountability and not having to throw the kids who aren't getting paid nearly as, heck, Paul Ariola, he's getting paid worth it to answer some questions. Why don't we put him on the mic?
It is always a tough. It is always a tough decision. I think because, like, I will say this: like, normally at home, win, loss, or draw, we kind of get who we want. We kind of get to pick and choose as journalists, and also it's an open locker room, so we can go and talk to other people, which is often like that's what I'm usually doing when Ari's streaming and I'm not there. I'm in the locker room. There's normal press conferences. I'm doing my side chats, getting rapport built, but also like getting some inside details. So it's always tough on an away game. But I will say, when you send the kids out for the hostage video, it's
this team
it
categorically
feels wrong because they
doesn't-
like you said, they were the two who looked like they came on and were trying to do everything they could to provide that spark.
And I don't think that they owe anybody anything for what they're putting, what we expect from these young kids coming. I think it's all upside, right? For the most part, we get these young kids coming on and they do really well, or they perform at a level. We've had plenty of kids do that. Now, these other guys I've talked about, though, have been in leadership on other teams, have been captain of other teams. Like, who is leading this squad from the player perspective right now? Because I don't see it. I don't see anybody leading the squad and going, hey, I put this on my back for a little bit for a few games. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that in that squad. I don't know if you have somebody that you're thinking of that you may not want to talk about,
No, I don't think that's wrong. I think it's a situation where that locker room is such a committee. Like, it's such a situation where as I mean, I guess it's funny because Brian Schmetzer is sitting there being like, oh, striker by committee. Well, it does feel often like, this group of players has been together so long, there isn't one guy. I think
I'm good with the striker with committee thing, but I'm expecting maybe one of my midfielders comes up and says, hey, like we had with Nico Ladero at times, like, hey, this is my squad.
I mean, Nico demanded accountability from every player on the field, and if you weren't running, he was gonna beat your ass like a drum. Yeah. And I do think that the Sounders do lack that. They lack that senior play. Like, Jordan has never really had to do that, and I don't think he's necessarily built like that. I think Christian is like that to an extent, but he's also not that guy who's gonna really super get on your ass. Right. Funny enough, I feel like Snyder Brunel is like slowly becoming that player, and I think it's funny because he's young, but also that's a personality thing. Like, I think a lot of different players, some players really just want to be super vocal. They really want to demand more from their team because they want that for themselves as well. And I don't know.
We go shop for that player though too at the same time, even if it's not a huge money.
It's hard to. I think this is where it's a challenge. I don't disagree with you. I think that's definitely possible, and it's definitely something you can do. But you're also in a situation where Brian Schmetzer feels as though this is the closest locker room he's ever had and the best locker room he's ever had, which he did say last year as well. But I do see what he's saying. Throwing someone like that into the mix can cause some jostling, especially when you've had just such long tenured players here. I think it's kind of similar to what Ari always says. And like, God, I wish we had a player with some bite, right? Like, I wish we had like just some attitude player. And it just feels like that's not the culture of this locker room right now. And if you threw someone in there who was like that, I don't know how that would go. I'm not saying that's the wrong decision or that they couldn't do it. It's just, I don't know.
We're talking about 5% in the margin and stuff, and that's the difference maker right now. I think if we're not going to go spend money, which doesn't seem like the club is going to do, and I don't think this falls on Craig either, by the way. I just, for everybody who's talking Craig out tonight, the guy won silverware last year for this club, putting together, like, he's won silverware since Garth left. Like, it is what it is. Like, we as pissed off as everybody might be going in this 5-game stretch, we've had pretty good last 5 years.
Sure.
For this club.
Yeah, I guess my question to you, coming out after this break, what do you want to see? Is it a signing? Is it multiple signings? Is it just like a change in play style? What do you want?
I don't. Before anything else, I want Portland to come to our house, and I want to score a shit ton of goals on that team. Before what you want to talk about big signings or whatever, all that stuff can wait. The focus now needs to be on making sure Portland doesn't come in and embarrass us like LA Galaxy did. I wouldn't say LAFC embarrassed us tonight, but we had the opportunity there to embarrass them in their house before they have to go think on a break. 18 days off right now is going to be real rough for any squad. And I would, the people who are going to come out too, there's a bunch of the young guys who have signed up to play for Defiance. Those are the guys I want to look for as kind of a future that want to either crack in or do things. So those games will happen over the break, and we'll see. I mean, it just seems like we're only going to see Christian for the next 2 months, and that's great. But
on that road to the World Cup final where a cross gets blasted in and Diego Luna heads the game winner, Christian Roldan will be on that field with him. Anything final notes before I let you go here, Timbo?
All I got is fuck the Timbers.
Fuck the Timbers.
Timbers.
Fuck the Timbers. We appreciate you, Timbo, and we will see you in I don't know. Maybe we'll do a call-in show for the World Cup, but at least 2 months or 7 months or however long the damn break is. We'll see you later, man. The World Cup is happening. I don't even know. All right, James, my man, how are you? I see you. Oh, you ready? There you go. Are you ready to go? Okay, you look good. There we go. Welcome in, James. That's Bolton, right? Bolton Wanderers.
It is. They've been my team for over 20 years, and they just won the League One playoff final this morning. I was up at 5 a.m. to watch that. It was incredible.
Or no, wait. No, who'd they beat?
Stockport.
Okay, yeah. Hull's in the championship, right?
Yes, that's right. They're going up to the Premier League. We won 4-1, including a bicycle kick to make it 3-1. Needless to say, that game was a little bit more entertaining than the Sounders game.
I'm gonna have to go and watch those highlights after this, just as a detox. So,
yeah, well, the mistake I made was watching English soccer before watching MLS this morning, because obviously League One does not have anybody of the caliber of a Son or a Bouanga, but everything was just so much faster, so much more physical.
Yeah.
So you don't need to spend a lot of money to get that, and that was one of the things that I thought really brought us down in this game. At one point, about 30 minutes in, the commentator says nobody in Seattle's moving. When we got spells of possession, it was just so static, and I just can't quite understand that. I watched Tottenham Everton trying to get a generational hate watch going, no such luck. And those guys are 40, 50 games into the season, and they're just running so much more than our guys who are halfway through the season. I think that
I did notice that today. Lazy.
I just don't. Yeah, lazy. I mean, I just don't know why everybody's so tired. I mean, I take that back. I sort of do, because I thought, Nouhou looked a lot less composed. I don't think he had a bad game by any means, but there were certainly more occasions where I'm like, that was sloppy. Like he's just kicking it out of bounds when normally he would do something with it.
Yeah.
But what do you expect when the guy's played virtually every minute of the season?
Correct.
Christian, kind of the same way. He's kind of in the dregs. He's not producing what we know he can. But like we were saying, and like Schmetzer sort of mentioned in his press conference, a lot of this does come out on the big money guys. And it annoys me a little bit that Schmetzer's saying, I told the high earners that they need to do more. Well, then bench them. But throw them out for the hostage negotiation video. Send Rusnak and Morris out there and make them explain why they were so bad. Neither guy does much anything in the game, and they're still out there in the 90th minute when we're chasing a goal. Send a message. If you're not getting enough out of them, then make them answer for it.
I think that's. I do agree with you. Like they should have sent those guys out there. I don't know whose decision that is. I don't know the inner workings, so I can't really comment on that. But like, it did feel like what the fuck? I mean, you guys saw my live reaction. Like, that was probably a little bit too unfiltered moment from me there. But it's like, man, what are we doing? Like, it's the last game before a 2-month break. These guys can take a little bit of heat. Like, I think that's actually probably good for you. Like, you're in a situation where you're telling me that we need to score more goals to win. Well, okay, like let's I mean, you're saying that in the locker room and you're saying that these players need to produce more, but yeah, I don't really know what message you're sending if you're like, all right, like we'll just go take 18 days and figure it out, Also, Brian seems to not be very happy with the union mandated break, which I think is really funny to me.
Yes. Yeah. If I could weigh in on the Weibel versus ownership discussion that was coming.
Absolutely.
Obviously it's not ideal to not have the kind of money to get, certainly not a Son, but not even a Rui Diaz or a Ladero. But he has spent money. He got he was reported as being the driving factor behind Leo Chu, which was a bust. He got $7 million to spend on Pedro de la Vega, which was the guy came in injured. He had an ACL tear in the past. That hasn't really worked out except for a few magical months during Leagues Cup. And he had money for a U22 last summer. We were looking at people, we were making offers, but he was shopping in Europe. He was shopping for a Netherlands U21 international and a guy who was essentially owned by Chelsea instead of shopping in Eastern Europe, South America. So that's on him. I mean, him targeting the wrong players is not ownership's fault. And then you add into all these guys on fairly big MLS contracts like Areola, who's never fit, Dotson, who has been bad, Kent didn't work out. I don't think that the extension for Musovski at $700,000 a year made any sense. And so if you're going to be broke, you need to be a little bit creative. You can't do things like sign Jesus Ferreira for a metric ton of Garber bucks and then also bring back Rusnak to take the position that Jesus Ferreira should be in. I think we need to go out and do essentially what Vancouver did. Their GM is like a 32-year-old or something. Get somebody who's young, who's got new ideas, who's going to work really hard. Because I don't feel like Weibel does much more than look at the MLS, who's on the trade block and who's a free agent. So if you're going to be broke, you've got to be creative. And if the problem is that we can't spend enough money on the roster, you said it yourself. We need to get these silver spoon-fed fail sons who inherited all their money out of MLS.
Hey, you know me, I hate a fail son. So listen, I think there is definitely some very fair criticism that Craig Weibel needs to face. And I've lodged some as well. I mean, I think the Pedro signing was like it was a gamble, right? Like, I think we can all say that, like, if the Pedro signing works out, we're not talking about that. I do think that the Jesus Ferreira trade was a really good deal. Maybe it's dinged a little bit by the Paul Arriola add-on. Maybe that's a little bit getting a little too greedy on that situation. But again, we've yet to see what's going on there. And I mean, I guess you can. Paul Rothrock kind of falls into his lap. The Leo Chu thing is bad. I do think there are a lot of good things that he's done. I think there's a lot of questionable things that he's done. And I do think there's a lot of worse GMs in the league. But I think it's fair to sit here and criticize and say, well, look at what Vancouver's doing or look at what, whatever. But also, I don't think this ownership group has any interest in paying. I don't actually. What is Thomas Muller making? I don't even know. Like $5 million?
Yeah.
So, I mean, sure, you don't need that. They have Sebastian Berhalter and Brian White and all of these like very talented guys. I think what is truly, to me, the look in the mirror moment is like there is a culture at the Sounders of respecting the players who play for you. And I think that handicaps them sometimes, right? Like there's players who, if I like them or I don't like them or whatever, they've been here a long time. And so like, we're going to try and respect them. It helps a lot with recruiting players to come here, but I think it also on the back end can hurt you, right? Like with, a Jordan Morris contract or whatever it is, right?
Well, there's with the Jordan, everybody shits on the Jordan Morris DP escalator thing. And the way I always look at it is it's not, I assume that Weibel knew that they were not going to spend money on a top DP, so it didn't matter. I don't believe it's a situation where it's like, oh my God, if he hadn't put that escalator in there, or if Morris had scored 3 fewer goals, we would have gone out and signed Lewandowski or Griezmann. I don't think that's the case. But again, that's a situation where you need to be more imaginative. Yeah. And you say, all right, we're not going to get a slam dunk guy. We're going to find maybe a guy who's a little bit older, free agent in Europe, who's willing to come for a lower DP contract, or Christian Espinoza was right there as a free transfer, and he's been pretty darn good for a very good Nashville team.
God damn it, James. You know how much I love Christian Espinoza. You can't use him against me. You're making a good point here.
That guy's the most Schmetzer player who's never played for Schmetzer. I mean, he works hard on defense. He's creative on offense, and he was right there for free. You could have, like you said, we hang on to people too long. If you had just left the DP spot open and if you had just not renewed Rusnak last year, and you bring Jesus in, then you got a spot for Christian Espinoza. There's things you can do to get rid of people. You can trade Rusnak and pay part of his salary. You can send him to a team that's more at his level, like a Montreal or a Union Omaha, and just pay part of his salary to get him off
Union
the books.
Omaha. I mean, he's been one of the most productive DPs in Sounders.
All right, that was a troll comment. I can see that was a troll comment. I honestly think he'd be better.
It was a good bait. It was a good bait. I think. How do you feel about this? If the Sounders, this is what Jeremiah was suggesting, right? The Sounders go and they go to Rusnak and say, listen, we'll extend you, but you're gonna be TAM. You're no longer a DP. We open up a DP spot in this summer, and they sign some. Whatever. I don't even want to talk about what they do with the DP spot. But to open up that DP spot, and they extend Rusnak, because they could essentially do that, right? Like they could say, okay, you're obviously aging into this time where like who knows what's going to happen, but if you want to stay at this team, if you like Seattle, if you like what's going on here, you can play, but you got to take a pay cut.
Yeah, no, because I just don't think he makes the team better. I think the team is better out there with Jesus at the number 10, and so I don't know why you would exhaust TAM on a guy who's, let's be honest, he's pretty much just out there for set pieces at this point. I was looking up the stats on FootMob. He's something like 50th in the league in expected assists, 53rd expected assists per 90. The production just isn't there. And so I don't know why you would extend somebody who really just isn't making the team better. I mean, then you're just digging yourself another TAM pit. So no, I do not think that would be the right thing to do. I really think that, he's not a Sounders DP. He's not a guy who's ever delivered in the playoffs in his 10-year MLS career. I really think he's more suited to a team like a Kansas City, where it's okay, he's not going to do anything for you for the playoffs, but if he does his assist, if he gets his corner assists and his penalty kicks in the regular season, maybe that's what gets you into 9th or 8th place. I mean, that's just a better level for him. Somebody should be willing to take him if we're willing to pay part of his salary, and then you clear up a DP spot and you can try to find a free agent in Europe.
Well, we will see what they will do, if they will do anything at all this summer. James, to close it out here with our conversation, any final thoughts?
Nope. Thank you very much for having me, and come on, Bolton.
As always, have a good one, James. All right, Kenny, I see you. You're unmuted, but I don't see any camera, so I'm gonna. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Yo.
No camera.
Okay, you're good.
All right, I hear you too. All right,
Okay,
what's
good.
up, buddy?
How are you? How is the how's life? How are we feeling?
I've been better. I mean, life's great. I'm winning all the time, except for my Sounders fandom right now. No, I mean, shit. I mean, fucking
Getting
bogey
tired of
teams.
winning, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I fucking hate Chivas USA. They're why I got my Sounders tat after we beat them in the playoffs. And I mean, fuck, how do I follow up all these callers? Y'all been cooking tonight. I mean, I don't really want to talk too much about this game. We got 3 weeks off to
I got
dwell on
something to
it.
talk about. I got something to talk about
You
with
got
you.
some? Yeah.
Let's go Nouhou. Let's talk about him. Is it crazy that his worst performance, and it wasn't even bad, but his most close to crash out performance was still a very incredibly solid performance?
Solid.
Should he be considered the defensive player of the year for the Sounders at this point?
That's a good question. It depends to me on how you rate Alex's fill-in duty at center back, because he was quite good there, and he's been okay at right back too. Kalani stepped up a lot. I mean, the defense was really good. I mean, it has been really good this year. It's so funny though, if you only concede, if you lose 1-0 a bunch of games, then yeah, you're gonna be the best defensive team in MLS, but it's because you're like the worst offensive team too.
Yeah.
But as far as Nouhou goes, man, I think he's good, just got a higher footballing IQ than people give him credit for. And I mean, you were right, like he was getting chippy with David Martinez, and then they were fouling the shit out of him. I think that's maybe what raised his statistical rating, his match fact rating was
Sure.
he drew a bunch of fouls, and then Paul was offsides like three
Yeah.
times in his 60 minutes. So I think those kinds of things fuck up the calculators they use or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about this game. I wanted to say the Portland Timbers.
Fuck 'em.
Something needs to change in Portland because they're second to last place. They need to be in last place. We need to put them in the bottom of the table. Who was it? Caleb was cooking when he was talking about put the dog down. Brian said it in the past before too. We can give our opponents death, but we're giving them life. You know, people are saying like we're the get right game for other teams. Like, well, you know, you're struggling, we can bring you back to life. You know, Kansas City, LAFC's 3-game losing streak. So let's not do
Yeah,
that
they
for
jumped
Portland.
us in the table too.
Yeah. Let's give them a spoon this year. I've thought of a wonderful gift for them.
Exactly. It is crazy. I mean, I don't know if we'll actually be able to do it because Philly is only on 7 points and they look absolutely abysmal. But the Timbers are on 14 points, tied with Austin, but on goal differential. Sporting Kansas City, obviously, they have 11. But listen, we did our duty to try and get Portland that spoon. We lost to Sporting Kansas City to give them points because long game, we're playing to make sure that Portland can get that spoon. So you know what?
Beautiful.
That's my code.
That's the Machiavellian type of shit I come to Lobbing Scorchers for, man. You know, we're getting long tonight, so fuck LAFC, fuck Portland
There we go.
Timbers. Let's go, Christian. Go make us proud in the World Cup. Oh, and Christian, get with Katie Wilson, Lobbing Scorcher's friend, and release 1,000 tickets for $50 like Tim Weah and Mom Donnie did. Are
Come
you guys
on.
socialists or what? Let's fucking
Zoran
get this
2.0.
done.
Katie
Let's do
is,
it.
we'll say confirmed Katie is coming back on the podcast, so I will ask her. She's coming
Big
on
news
this
dropping.
week. So,
All right.
all right, Kenny, have a good
Appreciate
night,
you,
man.
brother.
We appreciate you. All right, Caleb, I see you. You've been waiting patiently. You're here. Caleb, how are we? How's it going? Reporting
I'm
live.
crashing out, man.
Oh,
I'm sick and tired of this.
Okay. I'm going to just let you go. I'm going to just let you go. You know, keep it in the boundaries. But
Yeah,
I'm going to let you crash
no.
out. Go for it.
I don't understand why we pick and choose when to perform and when not to. Because I think, especially, I mean, now you don't hear it, but we were always like talking about how every game is like a championship game. Every game is like a final, and we treat every game like so seriously. How come like the only time we turn on the Jets and like actually give a crap about the game is when we're 1-0 down and there's like 3 minutes left? Like we could have done that the whole entire game, which I mean, you started off well. The first half when you started, it was good. We had some chances there. And then it was kind of just absorbing. But and then the second half was they had moments. I don't understand why Dotson started. Honestly, there was nothing I really saw from him today. And once Brunel came on, you immediately see him like he did some cool spin around and like run in. He took a few shots. Like it was great watching him because you could see that he's the guy that should be starting. And like I don't understand why I don't get why Brian would say that this was the best like lineup. This is not your best lineup. I mean, yeah, first of all, Ymar, like he's not there. I would consider him in our best lineup. And Brunel has to be in that lineup. There's no I don't think there's a real good space for Dotson at this moment. I think he could try and like what you guys were saying is be someone who pushes the rest of the team. I don't know if he can do that. Um, and yeah, I'm not satisfied with this month. We only got one win. We got two disappointing draws, and we have two losses against LA teams back to back. I think like that's an annoying thing. And these are two LA teams that are not good right now, and that we could have beat both of them and had a very comfortable uh, place if we actually like this month was a very winnable month. The only not so winnable game was the San Jose game, which we did win. So if we just took it and actually had forwards who scored, we could be at the top of the Western Conference, dominating over everyone else. Like I genuinely just don't understand. Like what is going on? Like how come like Morris had chances, but like still he's just not that player. We sold like half of like what made us great. Like last season. Last season was so good. Like why did we choose to either be a defensive team or an offensive team? Let's just be a great team.
Yeah.
I don't get it. What do you think?
That killer instinct, as you're saying, if they're kind of missing that, just like that thread. I think it touches back to what I believe Timbo was saying, or someone earlier. Sorry, whoever said this, but like they need a player that's like gonna be at someone's throat when they're not giving 110%, right? Like when the head goes down, someone's not like you don't want any head to go down. You want it all to be every moment means something. They're pushing for something. I think I don't know if this is my pontification here. It's like sometimes when you have so many options of trophies, right? Like, we're in the Shield race and we're in CONCACAF and we're playing for MLS Cup eventually and we have Leagues Cup and all this. Like you kind of have this mentality of like, well, there's going to be another opportunity, right? Like this game is important, but also there's going to be another opportunity. And it seems like they did give a lot for that CCC matchup, but man, since that, I haven't really seen that killer instinct either. Like, San Jose game was pretty good. I think that they gave that kind of mentality there, but it's been tough, man. There's no one's laying it out. No one's laying it on the line. I mean, there are players, I will say. Like I think Kalani has been playing like that. I think Snyder, like you mentioned, has been playing like that. But I think that's a lot of the young guys. Those are the guys who are like there to prove themselves, really work for minutes. So, we do have a bunch of people, so I'm gonna let you. Do you have anything else before we keep it pushing here?
I would just love another star. I would love the focus to be on the actual point of playing in the league instead of worrying about all the other international trophies. I don't care about that. I want a third star.
All eyes on Philip. All eyes on Philip.
Bring on the Philip.
Bring on Philip. All right. Thank you, Caleb. Sorry I'm cutting you short here. We're just getting long on time. All right. Tyler, I see you. Just give me 1 second, though, guys. I got to get my computer charger because my computer's dying. And so 1 second, chat. You can stare at this beautiful I don't have any elevator music, but I'm also just alone in the studio right now. I'm just by myself, guys. Like I've just been sitting here for the last 4 hours. So that's what God intended. All right. Tyler, I see you. Are you ready to go? Thumbs up. How we doing? Crashing out? Or are we all right? How we
I
feeling?
don't think we're crashing out. I
Okay.
mean, I want to appreciate the frustration from a large portion of the fan base. I think it's fair. You know, it's not been a great stretch right now. And so I think people's frustration is very understandable. I brought the background just to help a little bit, ease the vibes a little bit. But I think I was really troubled as well. And I want to kind of get your take on this a little bit more too, by coming out to say that this was the best 11 before the game. I really did not like that Schmetzer said that. I felt like that was kind of playing with fire in some ways as well, because the vibes around the team have not been good. And so if you say this is our best team, and your best team is Hassani Dotson, your best team is no Ymar, as Caleb said.
It's Kim Keehee.
Is Kim Keehee, who has played like 1.5 matches the entire season. I didn't love that, and I didn't love the performance on the field, which I think is the other thing. Because if you're a coach and you're going and telling the fans, this is our best 11, and that's the performance the fans are getting from the best 11, I don't know how you're going to sell any tickets when the World Cup is over, because I'm not going to pay to see what was on the field tonight. If that's the best you got to go back to the drawing board, because that was pretty bad. So I was just curious, actually, as a long-time observer of the team yourself, Noah, what you thought about Schmetzer coming out and saying that. You know, Schmetzer does say some things. I think we have noted he's maybe not the most media trained. He's very media trained, to be fair, but he will say some things that are a little off the cuff. So I was curious your take on that.
I think his media training is more of a like, what if I fucked with you guys a little bit?
It's very
Or
hand on the
played
stove.
coy,
media
you
training.
know? It's funny because like if you watch our interview that we did, this is a plug now, but like if you watch our interview that we did with him earlier in the season, that's what he's like normally. He's just a normal guy. Like he's like any dude you'd hang out with in Seattle. Like just funny, you know, German sense of humor, normal dude. But I think sometimes he gets into like this coach camera mode and is like wants to protect his players, wants to make sure that he and his team are represented in the correct way. And you know, it's like I don't know if I'm necessarily upset that he said that, more as I'm just like, I mean, you're gonna say this is my best 11. Like you're always going to say that. Like that's, you know, I think maybe what he was trying to say was, I'm going to put what I think is my best 11 players on the field.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there was still rotation, because what he says is like, okay, well, Snyder Brunel needed some rest, or at least that's what they say on the broadcast. In the broadcast, people talk to Brian one-on-one beforehand. You have Tino Lopez is not starting. I personally don't understand how, if you're going to rotate at center back, you're not playing like Stu Hawkins or like, I don't know. Maybe they want that veteran status, but like you have a Kim Keehee performance that wasn't abysmal, but I wouldn't say that it was like in starter level. I don't know. So all of that to say, like, I'm not offended by it, but I think it's one of those situations where, like, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably not something he should say, but like, what are you going to do? You know? My question to you, we're about to take this break for the World Cup. Coming back after, what do you want to see from this team?
I mean, I want to see the kids play every game, honestly. Like, I think you just have to come out of it, and like Dotson has to hit the bench for an extended period of time. I like him as a person. I think he was a great signing for the team, but I thought my intention, or my belief in the team's intention in signing him, was here's a guy who can spell Christian once every 7 matches, right? That's what I expected. Not him starting next to Christian, for one thing, their skill sets are duplicative, especially at this point in Dotson's career. He actually, I mean, a lot of the older people probably, or younger folks probably don't realize this, but Dotson was a fairly dynamic player when he was younger. He's not that player anymore, and I don't think he's a bad player, but there's no reason for him to start over Snyder Brunell.
He's really good at closing out games. Like I really like Hassani Dotson, someone who comes in and closes out games because he is very defensively minded nowadays. Like he is very good at slotting back in as that emergency center back in a transition moment, or cutting out a pass, or kind of making a play to get out of a tight situation. But I agree with you. He's not someone who I'm like, hey, yeah, let's start this guy and let him set the tempo. Well, Christian Roldan is sitting there. Like, also, I think in a way he makes Christian Roldan look bad too.
That's what I was going to say. I think that when you have a team that has really had a hard time moving the ball through the middle of the field, particularly in the spine, you're just like asking for stagnation, putting Dotson and Roldan next to each other, because there's just not, I mean, again, Christian's skill set is varied, but he's more of a jack of all trades than a dynamic ball mover. And that's what you see. I know everybody saw it. As soon as Brunell came in, the ability to move the ball forwards through the middle of the park completely changed. It was like, oh, we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to dribble past people in our attacking third and move the ball into the middle of the field. That's crazy. I didn't know we could do that. So it frustrates me that that's the case. And it really does become concerning, because I feel like this is a pattern with Schmetzer. I think we saw with Rui Diaz, we saw with Ladero, and to something you were saying earlier, where there is value in showing loyalty to the players. There certainly is, but at a certain point, you do have to put the guys that aren't performing on the bench. I think that's what most of us in the fan base would like to see, is some accountability, and that it should be accountability from the number 32 player on the roster all the way up to the number 1 player on the roster, whether that's salary, perceived rating, foot mob rating, whatever you want to take it. If guys aren't performing, they should be, getting pulled. And what I want to say, I know you're getting long, and I just want to put onto the thought process of people. When you look at teams like Vancouver is not afraid to sub their best players out if they feel like there's a tactical problem that they can solve by subbing those players, or if they feel like those players are not doing well on the field. We actually saw it in both of the Vancouver games that we've played this year. They are not afraid to take guys off the field. They're not afraid to have Brian White start on the bench and come in later, and he's the best player on their team right now. I mean, genuinely the best player on their team. So I guess what I want to see, I'm bringing it back around, don't worry. What I want to see coming out of the World Cup is, so the tactical flexibility that Schmetzer felt like he was exercising when Pekovic was healthy and he had a few more options. It does feel like after that injury, he's felt really constrained with his usage, but I think we got a ton of young guys. Throw Sukanome on the bench, man, and put him in, see what happens. What are you going to do? What are you losing right now? Like you have no movement, and you've got a player who is a true false 9, not a false 9 who really should be a 10 in Jesus Ferreira. Put Ferreira and Sukanome on the field at the same time, and I would like to see that genuinely. Maybe they're again very duplicative, but I think there's a chance there that tactically that could potentially unlock something, and it can't be worse than what you've got on the field right now. So I'd like to see him say, like, being realistic, this was not a Shield team, I don't think, from the beginning. I think they're still a good team and a good roster, but I think we need to stop being precious about the wins and the losses and really focus on playing good soccer. And that's what I want to see coming out of the break.
I think to that point, it's interesting because something we were just talking about was kind of the bite, right? Like that like drive, the want. I want to see Peter Kingston out there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Peter Kingston in all of his performances has looked like a guy who has everything to lose. I want a guy out there who feels like he has everything to lose, that this could be his last game. Right? That is how Rothrock ascended to being who Paul Rothrock is and becoming the spine of this team. You need guys out there like that. And yeah, like respectfully to Hassani Dotson, that's just not him. And respectfully to, Jordan Morris, that's not him, right? Like that's just where we are. So yeah, if you get a player like Sukanome out there, you get a player that is getting these moments and minutes. That's how you beat San Jose on the road. That's how you get these results to go your way, because
And I was
these
at
guys are
that
giving
San
that
Jose
extra
game,
10%.
and there was a lot of promise in the tactical arrangement that Schmetzer ran out there, which obviously we haven't been able to see, mostly because Pekovic is not there and he's
God,
kind
I
of
miss him.
part. But the last thing I want to say, and then I'll jump off, is just with regards to kind of the idea of the players playing and who's playing for what and things like that. I just would like us all to kind of acknowledge that, for better or worse, the roster that we have has a core that is a lot of players that are over 30 years old. 31, 31, 33, 32. It's a lot of over 30 players. And I do think that we collectively have to kind of look for and excuse when, excuse me, the wrong word, but accept when good roster management is happening. Now, I don't think good roster management has been happening to this point in the season, but I do think we're going to run into some stuff if Schmetzer is smart on the back half of the season, where we do see a lot of the spine sitting in order to give rest for those older legs. But I think that it's got to happen, man. Like we've got to start seeing these guys being able to play at their top level. And I know they're top athletes and everything like that, but we all know that for soccer players, once you hit 30, there is a diminishing capacity for performance across the whole season, and you're also opening yourself up to more injury. And I think if we can preserve the core, I mean, Rusnak has looked tired. He has looked bad, but I think it's been fatigue. I just don't see the mental sharpness. I don't see the decision making. He looked really good. I mean, we were burying the lead in that. He looked really good at the beginning of the season. He really did. The goals were not there. The assists were not necessarily there, but he was a way different player than he's been recently. And I think it's just, we're seeing the Christian Roldan effect of 1,200 minutes. What does that look like on a player who's older? And I just hope that we can kind of collectively be like, all right, we're going to round out a couple of rosters a little more experimental, but let's do that so that we can have a good push on the back half of the season. That's my other hope for this. So Noah, you're doing a great job by yourself too, man.
Thank you. I'm doing what I can here with Ari out, but Tyler, thank you so much.
Take care,
we
man.
will see you soon. All right, Tribe, I see you. Are you ready to cook? You ready? Are you ready? Okay. Welcome. Crashing out?
Yeah,
How
absolutely.
I sometimes I'm scrubbing through. I see what you guys are doing down there in the little waiting room, and I saw Tribe just. So I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna just give you the floor.
All right. Well, first of all, this team cannot fucking perform under pressure in this sort of stage in the season for some reason. Under the crowd in LA, it seemed like everyone was unsure in the final third, unable to make the clean passes in between the lines. It seemed a very, very difficult attacking phase when they were trying to go through the middle. You saw a couple of good link up passes, but then it just went to shit after the second. Like back in the days when we had Ladero, Rui Diaz, you could see that sort of thing all the time. That late winner, like 5-6 years ago against San Jose, the 1-2 pass from Nico, then it found Raul. That's the sort of thing that we were trying, didn't work. We don't have the players for that. If everyone is pissed about Brian Schmetzer saying that that's his best starting 11, why don't we just go sign someone? Why don't we just fucking fix that? Just sign someone so we can stop the complaining. Just sign someone. Also with Jordan Morris, man, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything for the past 5 appearances. Well, he did score a goal, but 1 goal in 5 appearances for a designated player. That's our second highest paid player. What in the fuck are we doing? Honestly, it is the worst thing I've ever seen. It really is a worst bit of business. This club is not good at business. We got rid of Obed Vargas for what? 15% on sale clause and $2 million. What the fuck is that? We got rid of we almost got rid of.
Fair, just for the Obed thing, because I think there's context to that. He was going to walk away for free.
You could do better before, though. You could do better before than prevent that from happening in the future.
To a U22 deal, correct? But also, I will be very clear in saying that if you read the reporting and also maybe things that aren't reported, his management might have been a little bit of a how do I say this kindly?
Don't just go for it.
just abrasive. We'll go with that. We'll go with that word there. Yeah. But continue. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, it's true though. But we almost got rid of Paul Rothrock for fucking free. What in the hell? That
Could
was
you imagine
insane.
Paul Rothrock on that San Jose team? God damn it.
He was going to Nashville, wasn't he? That's the
There was
that was
San Jose, Nashville rumors.
yeah, fair enough. We got rid of John Bell for free. He was an absolute
miss him.
banger.
I miss him.
Banger. I fucking love that man. Man, if we had him, he's seriously better than Kim Key, better than Ryan Saylor, better of any of our second tier defenders right now. He was so good. Now he's a starter as well and doing very well. We got rid of all of these players. We got rid of all these players. And now we're paying for it. We are absolutely paying for it. I said at the start of the season, it'll start well, but we're going to pay for it later on because it's a game of momentum. Everyone says it's not only in the whole season that's momentum, it's also the game. Everyone's like, why can't we play like it's the final 90 minutes? Because it's a momentum-based game, for fuck's sake. We can't just start like that. It's not only fatigue and responsibility that comes into it, because if you are down a goal, then you get that extra kick in the ass to go, you know? And also the other team is going to be trying to protect that lead so hard, and you're going to get more openings, more opportunities, and it's going to be more life or death. That's just how the game works. You can't just start like that. But no, I was just, I don't know, man. I knew this was going to happen. Schmetzer's never beaten LAFC, I don't think, in the regular season, which is a crazy statistic, by the way. And it just keeps happening like this. And this is a game for Georgie Manungu, by the way. Holy shit. On the counterattack, if he was in the position where Jesus Ferreira was, Jesus, he is going in and out, just going around, maybe even getting another penalty or something, man. That guy, you see what he's doing at Colorado right now. You cannot say that that's not a
He's
Georgie Manungu game.
giving up penalties, right? Is that what? Am I right about that?
No. Like I mean, like the Inter Miami. He might have done something like that. You never know. Just anything with him. He's just so unpredictable. You gotta love him. But I want to get your thoughts. How do we move forward from this? This sucks.
I think it's hard for me to answer that because it's like I can pontificate all day about how I would do it, but I just like they're not going to do that. They're not going to do the things that are going to make them competitive in that exact way, or the way that I would say. Like it's one of those things where you need something new. You need something big, whether it's to bring in fans or to be effective in this league or to whatever, right? But like, I just don't think there's the boldness or the money to be able to do that. And I think that's just the reality of the Sounders, right? Like they really spend their effort on developing these young players, and that's what we're going to see. Which is like, it's great. It's great. Yeah. It's great, right? But like and then I question and I wonder, it's like, okay, well, let's play you then. You know, let's make sure Snyder's starting. Let's make sure that we develop these other young center backs, right? And Stuart Hawkins and all of this stuff, instead of like keeping Kim Kee on the roster, which I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that at all. But you know, what I want to see is bold choices with roster decisions and contract decisions, either in the summer or at the end of the year. And what they replace those with is hopefully, you know, God only knows, but I would love for them to go out and spend some money. It doesn't need to be transfer fees. There's going to be a ton of free agents like in the summer.
We got
like,
Kent for free.
We got Kent for free.
Huge.
We're, you know, like I don't know. Like let's think big. Let's think bold, and let's do what we can to like. What I love is the Red Bulls, right? Like the Red Bulls, they're not like world beaters. The Sounders are by far better than the Red Bulls, I will say. But man, it's like for all of the hardship, it's like they're bell cowing their young players and they're letting them lead and they're letting them be built up. And the Sounders, they do that. They do that well. But I think that we need a little bit more focus on those guys. and maybe building your team around those young guys with older players that are going to help them rather than just slotting in the young guys in positions of need. Like, I don't know, who is this team built around? That's my question.
Rolled on, maybe Brunel.
Yeah,
by the way,
like-
I was the conductor of the Brunel hype train. By the way, I absolutely was.
This guy knew.
That was back during the
I
LA.
remember you saying that like
Yeah.
like a while back. Like some of your first calls, you were like, "Bro, you need to look at this kid." And I was like, "All right, I
Back
trust."
during the Leagues Cup, bro. I was a conductor of that shit. But I do have to go soon. Last thing I want to say. Just a crazy statistic, right? Ryan Kent was around valued at 1.4 million, I think. Jordan Morris is getting paid so much more than that. So if we get rid of Morris, I love Morris, great guy, unbelievable guy. He is tremendous and the best player I've ever seen, right? If we get rid of him, we could maybe sign 5 Ryan Kents every 5 years. You never know. But yeah, after that performance, fuck Brian Schmetzer. No, I love him. Unbelievable guy. Really, really good team. But unfortunately, the attack just isn't there. But with that, I will leave you to it. You are on a grind, brother. Without Ari, it is quite the journey. 2 hours on the dot now. Unbelievable
go.
from you. Well
And
done,
we keep
my friend.
grinding. Well, thank you,
Yes,
Tribe.
sir.
We will
No
see
worries.
you soon.
Hey.
Oops, cut you off there, but I know you said to see a good one. All right, DJ with the $5 miscellaneous support super chat. Appreciate it. All right, we're rounding in to our final 2 here. No one else call in, otherwise I will literally pass away. Gianni, are you ready to go? I know you've got some takes. You've been sitting here listening, patiently waiting. The floor is yours.
Bro, that was just fucking terrible to watch. I want 2 hours of my life back. Like, that entire first half, it felt like for like a solid 15 minutes, we just didn't touch the ball. There was like no possession. We get the ball, we start trying to play out of the back. They high press us. We kick the ball long. Jordan Morris can't win the ball out of the air. They then circulate the ball around the back like we like to do and just bring it right back down. And we're just pinned in. I was like, well, that's fun. That's what you like to see. And then Christian Roldan decides, I'm going to try and give them a goal. that was the icing on the cake. I was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now?
Do you think that is, because I was kind of pontificating about this. It feels like he tries to be way more creative when Snyder isn't on the field instead of just being more of that anchor. Like Hassani wasn't doing any of that creative stuff. And so Christian was trying to make these like line breaking passes or these kind of more like like, I'm not saying that's not in his bag. Like I think it is, but I think that it was just a situation where he was like, he's coming up on playing a lot of minutes. He is, I don't know. What do you feel? Do you feel like that's the case, or what was happening there?
It's definitely a worse pairing. There is like, we definitely struggle to move the ball through midfield when they're playing together. He might be feeling a little that pressure. He's taking a few more risks than he normally would. I don't think that's why he kicked the ball to their team this time, because that was in our defensive third. Like, he was just outside of our 18. That one, he's got these moments where he just goes brain neutral, and he just like he'll make like one bad pass a game. And people will do that. The problem is the areas in which he's making those bad passes right now are leading to high XG chances. And let's bring out XG.
There we go.
Yeah.
Rip it out.
Yeah. But that was like, as far as him playing with Hassani, yeah, like they both fill the same role. And as someone else was saying earlier, they're both very defensive-minded players. Christian can progress the ball, but there's a reason where he's not playing on the right wing anymore. Like, there's a reason he's playing as one of the 8s, and honestly, he's playing as the more defensive 8 in the pivot. So I think when you basically are playing with 2 very defensive-minded players, you end up in a situation where, yeah, you're probably not giving up a lot of high quality looks, but you're also not generating a bunch of high quality looks.
Yeah.
And on a team where you're already struggling to score, that's probably not exactly what you want to be doing.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's not really all that shocking to say, oh, yeah, we only generated like it was 1.2 XG in this game. That's not really surprising. Kind of moving on down the line. Yeah, Jordan had a good look or two. He's got to find a way to just put that over the top of the keeper. Like that.
That's what I was saying. You got to get some lift on that ball, dude. That's Sunday league shit, man. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Honestly, like this is not uncommon for him. Like when he gets into these one-on-one situations, he tends to shoot low.
Yeah.
But when the goalkeeper's rushing out at you, which you're going to see as a fast forward who tries to get in behind, that goalkeeper is not going to stay stuck to his line. He's going to commit to the ball. You have to be able to chip the keeper. That is like the one skill you absolutely have to have. And it's too many times. It's just like, I'm not sure if he's afraid of like putting the ball over the top, but it's really not that difficult to do.
Yeah. I wonder like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say it's not difficult to do as I'm sitting on a couch and I missed like 45 shots in playing against a bunch of 38-year-old dudes today.
Yeah.
In Sunday league. But like, yeah, like, I mean, you are the second highest paid player on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
You scored a shitload of goals. Let's get a little lift on that. Let's get a little lift on that. Get that under the boot a little bit, you know, like pull that thing up a little bit. Like yeah. What did you think about Brian Schmetzer's comments about, you know, the luck side of things, right? Like we had things going our way in the first half of the season, but now we don't. And that's, you know, part of the reason we're losing.
Honestly, it's kind of bullshit. I mean, like, yes, there's always a degree of luck in any game. So you can say, oh, well, luck's just not going our way. I'm like, you have to also make your own luck. So, yeah, sure. Like if we were hitting the post a lot and the ball wasn't bouncing in, yeah, that might be the bad side of luck. But that's not this. We're struggling to generate chances. That's not bad luck. Maybe Jackson Reagan like flicking the ball to the wrong side of the post in the last game, or Jackson Reagan not being able to put that ball on frame because he tripped and fell. I'm like, yeah, sure, maybe one or two of those are bad luck. The rest of it is just bad play.
We need to get Jackson Reagan in a yoga class. I feel like
dude.
You know, I feel like a yoga class would do him well. Just like getting those limbs stretched out and not as, you know, stiff might help.
Yeah. But
I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, so like when Brian says, oh, you know, we're just having some bad luck. And honestly, what it really is we're actually regressing back to what our team, I think, truly is. Like, I think the beginning of the season was kind of fool's gold. I think we were overperforming our XG by quite a bit. And yeah, we had been generating some pretty good chances. We also have to remember at the beginning of the year, a lot of teams look bad.
Yeah.
And so if we were playing, like, yeah, sure, we played Vancouver and we whooped up on them in Cascadia, or not Cascadia, CONCACAF. Sure, whatever. That's fine. That was the beginning of the season. Now teams are rounding into form. They have more tape on us. They know how we're playing. And we're looking worse. We're not ascending. We're descending.
I mean, we did beat San Jose, which is arguably one of the best teams in the league. So I do think there's like, I don't know. It feels to me like that's partly true, but also there's a situation where like this team does have a good ceiling. Maybe its floor is just worse than we previously predicted. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm like, I think the team has a relatively high ceiling. I think that's probably like third in the West is probably like where our ceiling is.
That feels right.
Yeah. In shield wise, it's probably 6th or 7th, which also is feeling about right. I mean, the East is a little weaker, so maybe it's a little higher than that. But I mean, We're not going to be competing.
I mean, but for the Shield, that's bad because they're just going to beat up on each other and score get a bunch of fucking wins and stuff.
Yeah,
so I mean,
exactly.
that's like Nashville. I truly do think Nashville could easily win the Shield just because the East is genuinely dog shit.
Well, I mean, they
It's
get to
so
play
bad.
Montreal 3 times.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm sorry. I would like 3 wins just chalked into my schedule, please. Thank you.
fair,
Like
we had
they
that
don't
with
even
Sporting
tweet
Kansas
in English.
We had
They
that
don't
with
even
Sporting
tweet in
Kansas
English.
City. We couldn't even pick up those 3 points off the fucking ground. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, this is a team that when you play the bad teams, you have to fucking put them down. You cannot just fuck around and give them goals.
Yeah.
So, Sporting Kansas City, that has to be 3 points. Wasn't 3 points. LA Galaxy, pretty bad team. That should have been 3 points. Guess what? Nope. LAFC, they hadn't won a single home game all year. They lost to Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
They tried to lose to us too.
They
They
really
gave us
did. Like,
ample opportunity.
yeah, we had chances. And
I mean, Denny
again,
Mwanga looked absolutely like shit. Son just decided he wanted to be Messi in the League's Cup final and miss every shot he took. Like it was there. It was there for the taking, for sure. Well, Gianni, final thoughts, because I do want to get to Raul and then get out of here.
you know, we probably need to make a signing this summer, this little break, whatever. If we don't, man, the vibes is going to be real fucking bad. Doom Chat is going to be fired.
The chat is doomed. Well, Gianni, thank you so much for calling in. We always love hearing from you, man, and we will see you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, keep up the strong work, man.
Thank you. All right, Raul, I see you. Are you ready? All right. Welcome in, man. You've been the most patient out of everyone. How are we?
Good, man. A little disappointed, but I'm doing all right. I'm from here, so I was able to attend the game. I was at the
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, I'm from here, so I was able to attend the game, and I was with the ECS members.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. Just disappointed, man. And I mean, I'm not gonna keep repeating what everybody said about Sounders because I kind of pretty much agree with them. But bro, this LAFC team, we should have beat these guys.
Oh yeah,
they're really not that good. Today they did not look that good. They didn't scare anybody. They don't scare anybody, to be honest with you. Aerial attacks, nothing. Counterattacks, nothing. We should have put these guys away. Yeah, just with the whole Morris thing, man. We gotta do something about that. We need a really good left-footed attacking midfielder, and we need a really lethal number 9. Like we have to do this summer, bro. We can't be dropping points like this. Just like what the gentleman before said, like we cannot be losing games with teams like, you know, Kansas and Galaxy and like this LAFC game, man. Like these guys have millions of dollars on the field and they look like shit.
Yeah.
Compared to us, which is also like, oh, you know, like, but yeah, man, we gotta put these games away.
Yeah.
This summer, I really hope we get some signings, and yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
I think it goes to your point, right? Like something needs to change, and it doesn't mean that we need to spend $1 million or millions and millions of dollars. Like, if you spend a shit ton of money, it doesn't mean results. But what it does mean is that you're actually making changes and filling in these gaps. If they don't do anything in this summer, I mean, it's going to be, I don't even.
We need somebody with, I don't want to, you know, get out of line here, but we need somebody with balls, man. You know what I mean? That's gonna get in there and say, give me the ball. Like, give me the fucking ball, you know? Bam. Start putting them away.
Right.
Left, right, front, back, give me the ball, boom, done deal. And then we need somebody with an attitude, man. Like Toledo, like, hey, like, focus, like, come on. Get on it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just frustrating. I don't know why Morris stayed so long. I think on that goal, we were up there. We were looking at the game, obviously. But it looked like there was some kind of maybe miscommunication with Nouhou where he wasn't, like, he should have covered that number 8. I forgot what his name is, but he didn't cover it. You could tell there was some kind of miscommunication, and then, boom, it was done deal. But, yeah, just watching Morris drag himself across the field, I was like, oh, man, like, I don't know. You can hear it in the crowd, like, man, they got to do something about Morris, man. It sucks, you know. We love the guy because he's given us a lot of joys, a lot of celebrations. But at some point, you gotta say, "Hey, brothers." Which I wanted to ask you. So his DP contract. So how does that work with his contract? When does it end? How long? Like, if we wanted to buy him out, like, can that even be possible?
You can't really buy him out because of the price of his contract. If you buy someone out, that hits your salary cap. But what you can do is extend him or trade him. I don't think anyone would be interested in trading him for his contract that he's on, but you basically could extend him to a way lower cost deal, then you would no longer be a DP. It's the same thing you could do with Albert Rusnak. But I mean, honestly, at this point, like, his contract runs through 2027, which is next year. You kind of are just like, well, we might as well just age this one out. So it's, you never know. I'm not exactly sure on them. Like, you could technically buy him out, but you then couldn't go and sign another DP.
Yeah. Which leaves us with hopefully hopes and prayers with Pedro de la Vega. I know you had that one take a couple of podcasts ago, but I'm still on the 50-50 with him. Like, do we get rid of him?
Right.
You know, is it a ticking time bomb? Same thing with Morris. Like, is he going to get injured today or not? But Pedro, I don't know. I hope that if he does come back, then he stays healthy for the whole season, for the whole year, because we need that kind of player too. You know. But yeah, man, just wanted to share my thoughts. Either way, I was there talking smack. I don't care. I'm gonna support my guys anywhere I go.
Well, I love it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in, Raul, and we'll talk to you soon, man. Peace out.
Man. Hey, hopefully I'll see you in September, bro, with the against Galaxy, man. You gotta come out, dude.
I know. I normally come out. I was gonna come out for this game, but the airline tickets, man? They're so good.
I know.
Bro,
yeah, true.
I will be. Yeah, I'll try and make it out for the Galaxy game.
Man, that'd be sick, dude. I'd love to get an you could autograph my shirt, man.
Hey, you'd be the first one. I don't think I've ever autographed anything before, so let's do it.
Yeah, man. Let's hope for that.
There we go.
All right, man. Peace. Have a good night.
Good night. All right, guys. I'll answer this one question, but what we got to do is we got to like the video. There is not that many likes on the video, guys, and like I just feel like as a solo host here, I'm failing. This is normally Ari's job, and like I'm here filling in, clearly not doing a good enough job because we're on like 40 likes. That's tragic. But final thing. Oh, it's here. Reese says hold on. Reese said something else. He said something else. He was trying to cook us up here. Reese, scenes with Lobbing, Scorchers and sounded hard to defend. Weibel making 0 signings in the summer. You watch our streams. When have we ever defended Craig for not making a signing? In fact, if you go back in the Sounder at Heart archive, there's literally been a shit ton of criticism about the lack of summer signings. I believe there was literally an article called Lack of Summer Signings or Historic Lack of Summer Signings from Craig Weibel. So I'm going to be honest with you. We talked about it. The U22 situation, the situation where he was like, well, we only need to sign Noah Ohio. And I was like, that's not a real guy. Also, Noah Ohio right now is rotting on the second team of PSV or whatever, and this is not even doing shit. So whatever. But I will say, like, listen, man, I get it. But I think we've been rightfully critical when we feel like we need to be, and I think our takes are pretty well informed there, Reese. But we appreciate you sticking around for the 2-hour stream, and you know what? We'll end on this beauty here. Weibel is cooking, and you just have bad taste, Noah. That's so true. Thank you guys for watching our marathon stream. Make sure you are liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. Shout out to our sponsors. We've got many of them. Higson Ferments. You can check out lobbingscorchers.com/sauce for tons of sauces. Lots of many sauces across the board, but the Lobbing Scorchers hot sauce is super good. We've got lobbingscorchers.com/coffee, QED coffee for the Monday morning show with Nico and Ari. And also Podium Menswear in Edmonds, Washington. Kickoff tomorrow, TBD. Ari will be out, so it would be me filling in. I actually need to talk to Nico, but I don't know if he's awake right now, so I will text him. Either way, I'm sure Ari and Nico will reschedule if needed. But appreciate you guys, and I will see you all soon. Happy World Cup!